Hi, it's Sarah Berry from stampwithsarah.co.uk. Today I'm showing you this really lovely Christmas card which has the elves stacked on top of each other using the Signs of Santa photopolymer stamp set, which is available in the Autumn Winter Stampin Up catalogue for 2018. Now this will only be available until the 3rd of January, so if you want to have a go at something like this, you'll want to take a look at the items in the description of the YouTube video. So this card features a technique called masking, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So to start with, you need your card base, and this is our red colour, which is called Real Red. Across is 10.5 centimetres by 14.8 tall, and it just opens up like a standard card. And then we have a green layer which is called Call Me Clover, and that is just a little bit smaller to go on there. And then you need 2 pieces of white cardstock, and again this is just slightly smaller to fit on the green mat there. The other white piece will go inside the card like that. So I'm going to start by stamping the inside. Because I'm colouring with my blends, which are alcohol marker pens, these are the 5 colours that I'm using today. We have Mango Melody, Poppy Parade, Shaded Spruce, Crumb Cake Light, and Soft Suede. So these are the dark pen and this is the light pen. Because I'm using blends, the Memento is the ink pad to use because it doesn't react with the pen and the alcohol in the pen. So the inside has this little card like that, and then on top is some presents. So you want to just make sure they look like they're stacking high in this little cart. And then there's a little message that just says "and more." The greeting on the front is wishing you everything on your list and more. So it's quite nice when you open the card, you see this little message. So you can really colour the card in any of the colours, but I've chosen to keep the colours the same, nice and simple. I'm not really doing any shading, I'm just using the pen as a whole colour. Obviously you can take a little bit more time doing this, but just to show you. So I'm choosing to use the bullet tip on these presents. It's a little bit firmer than the brush tip. And now this is going to be the brush because it's quite a large area compared to the small presents. And I've got a whole covering of the soft suede, and then I'm just going to colour in half of the card again and a little bit at the bottom just to give it a little bit of shading. So there's the insert, and I'll glue that straight in with my multi-purpose glue. If you see the colour coming through the cardstock, that's perfectly normal. In fact, you want that. That is just shows you that you've blended that colour really. Okay, and there's the inside. So next we're going to do the little elves. Now for that you'll need some sticky notes or post-it notes. Come on, glue. I have no idea why this has stopped working. Oh, there we go. So that's all ready. So yes, we need some post-it notes, and you'll want to stamp onto your post-it note at the top where the sticky strip is. And I've done one for each elf. As you can see, we have little girl elves and then a little boy elf. The little girl's just got little bits of hair coming out of the side under her ears, and the boy hasn't got any. So I'm assuming that these are girls and these are the boys. So I've stamped them on the top of the post-it note. I've cut round. To be honest, you don't really need to cut as much out as I have. As long as you get the top of the hat, you could just shape that and keep this all a whole post-it note. Because really all we're doing is missing off their foot each time. And I'll show you that now. So I've got my elves mounted on the blocks already, and I find it easier to work out which one I need to turn the blocks over and have the stamps down on the surface rather than doing this, because they're looking in the opposite direction. So if you have them facing this way, you know that if you want to copy this pattern, you need this elf, which is looking that way, and then the second one is the boy elf looking that way. You don't have to do it like this. You could start with the boy and then have the girl and then have the boy again. So it's completely up to you. You don't even have to do it like this. But just to show you exactly the same, I'm going to copy it. So again, we're using the Memento ink. I'm stamping just under halfway, about 2/3 of the way down. Nice and firm. And then you want to cover this up with the post-it note. So you can see what I mean about having, literally just need the top of this, and then we could leave from here down as a whole post-it note. So we just need this detailed edge. Can you see all this black line? That's from doing this. So you take the next elf and you go above. So anything that's at the bottom of this elf on the right is going to go onto that post-it note, and then when we lift them off, you'll find that it's created that mask technique that we were looking for. Again, do the different elf. Go at a funny wonky angle. Okay, and now it's time to take them off. So just peel and you'll find that they are stacking up against each other. So, I mean, when you first take them off, you're kind of a little bit unsure as if you've done it properly, but I can assure you, you will have. They really come to life when you start colouring them in. So I'm going to colour them in completely so you can see which colours I've used. Starting off with the red. You can get shading with just using one pen. Now, as I said, this is Poppy Parade in the dark. And there's the hat. So if I want a bit of shading, I'm just going to zoom in for you. If I want a bit of shading, I'll leave that for a little while, not too long. By the time I've done the jacket in red, I will go back to it. I just want to add a little bit of shading so it looks a little bit more realistic. So I always look at the shadows that have been put into the stamp. So you can see there's shadows at the back of the triangles on this hat. So I'm going to just follow that. And it just adds a little something, just a little bit more detail. Okay, so I'll do that again. Do the hat first. I like to colour in little circles. Do the jacket. I've realised I've forgotten a blend pen. There's another colour to add to these, and that is the flesh colour. I'll grab that in a second. So there's the red jackets done, and then the boy is the green. As I said, this pen is shaded spruce, and we do have a Call Me Clover pen, so I could have chosen that one, but these are just the first greens that I've picked up. If I wanted them to coordinate, perhaps I should have chosen the shaded spruce cardstock as well. But there's, by all means, you can do that too. Okay, now while we've got these pens here, just add a little bit of brown, making her a brunette, like that. And then the Mango Melody I've just used for the buckles. I love colouring in. So I'll probably stamp a few of these and then sit in front of the telly and colour some in. Oh, I'll just grab that pink fleshy colour. Okay, it's the dark petal pink for the faces and the ears. So we want in the ears, the hands, which are very little, so I'm using the bullet tip, and you want to hear that squeakiness. That means you're pressing hard enough. Okay, and I don't know if you're noticing, but try and avoid these eyes, by the way. You want those white, don't we? The way I tend to colour, I just follow the shape of the face. So I just add a little bit more colour in the areas that it's needed. It just helps it look a little bit more realistic, and I guess a little bit more 3D. Just adds a bit of shape to it and doesn't make it look quite so flat as it actually is. So you're thinking you're going all under the cheeks and the chin, and then once it's dried a little bit, you can actually go back into the cheeks, and I just give my elves a little bit of blush. Makes them look really cheeky. So if I turn that over, you'll see the areas that I've been working on. Alright, so that's just about it. If you wanted to, you can add a little bit of glitter to the hats, to the bubbles, but I haven't this time. I could have used my Wink of Stella just to carefully go on the white pieces. But to finish, just to ground these elves, because at the moment they look like they're in mid-air, just take the crumb cake light and add a little bit of grounding to it. And that's it. That's how we colour in the elves. Now, just to quickly finish this card off, I've die cut one of the scallop circles, and it measures 5 centimetres from the outer edges, and then I've used a punch, which is the 1.5 inch circle punch. I could have used the dies, but I was just using the punch at class. The greeting, wishing you everything on your list, which is so nice. I like that. Just stamp again in black, and that just fits in that circle. So I've used the wet glue to fix those together, and then that will sit on some dimensionals. Okay, I'll glue my elves down. I love this card. I'm a little bit biased, but I really do like doing this. It's made me sort of rediscover the masking technique again. You can do it with any of your stamps, any animals, anything that really that would look funny, I guess, to stack on top of each other. As long as you follow those guidelines of the post-it notes, you can do it with anything. So I'm just going to show you how I tie my bow. This is a question that I get asked a lot at class, because we all do this differently. There's the bunny ears option, where you take two bunny rabbit ears, cross them over, push one through the hole and pull together. So that's one technique. That's one way of doing it. The other way is like the fork method, where you cross them over your two fingers. You can either go up and through the hole, or take this one through the middle. I prefer to go over in between the fingers, and then you push it through that gap there, and then tie those together, and then you get your bow. That's another way. The way I do it is I have a piece like this, a loop. Make sure you have enough to go around your fingers. So you go round, through where my thumb is, and pull tight. When you adjust the bow, you always have to adjust them. It's never going to work first time. Make sure you're holding that knot, not tight, but just so you can keep pulling this back and forth. You get quite little dinky bows or ears of your bow, and then pull it tight, give it a wiggle, and then your tails will just hang down nicely, and then we'll just cut that. Make sure you're using your best pair of scissors for the ribbon. This ribbon is real red, which matches the cardstock and the pens, of course, and it's called mixed satin ribbon. So it's mixed because it's got this textured pattern down one side, and this bow is actually quite easy to tie because the front and the back of the ribbon is pretty much the same. One side is a little bit glossier and the other more matte, but a lot of the ribbons people struggle to tie bows with because they look different on either side. So this is a great one if you're not very confident with tying bows. It's a good one to start off with. So I don't mess about with wet glue for adding bows onto my cards. I just use a couple of glue dots, stick them both together, and make sure there's nothing showing. Okay, and then that will stick at the top of there. So there you go. There's the cards all finished, and the insert. This one, oh, I didn't do it too differently, did I? I've just swapped the colours over on these two. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed watching my video today. If you have any comments, any questions, please ask in the comment section on YouTube, or if you're watching on my blog, please ask in my blog post. I'm more than happy to help you and discuss anything regarding Stampin' Up, whether you'd like to join Stampin' Up and join my team, or purchase some of the products that you've seen today. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe if you've enjoyed my video. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon. Bye.